Jacob and Esau. Before this story, we learn of Abraham's death. The father of nations went to be with his Lord. He was buried by Isaac and Ishmael beside his wife Sarah. Isaac and Rebekah had twins named Jacob and Esau. The two, even from the womb, warred against one another. Esau, the older twin, was tricked by his younger brother and sold his birthright. Now, we will learn about Rebekah and Jacob tricking Isaac into giving Jacob his blessing, inspired by the book of Genesis. There was a great famine that plagued the land. The land, once adorned with fertile fields, ceased its growth. The land would soon return to its former glory, yet for the time being, Isaac needed to escape to healthier plains. They escaped to Gerar, a hostile land in which Isaac had never ventured before. When his family settled there, the men in the city were asking about his wife Rebekah, for she was pleasing to the eye. Isaac, out of fear that they might kill him to take his wife, claimed she was his sister, as his father Abraham had done before him, and Adam did generations before him. Isaac compromised the integrity of his wife to protect himself. Yet it did not take long for Isaac to get found out, and a great distress was put upon their leader, Abimelech. Once again, the family of Abraham had underestimated the integrity of foreigners and had created strife amongst them. And yet Isaac worked the ground well. The Lord had instructed Isaac to remain in Gerar instead of fleeing to Egypt, and he was fruitful for it. Isaac grew richer during the famine, and his influence reached far beyond the land of Gerar. The Philistines who dwelled in the land grew envious of him, and Isaac became villainized for his success. Abimelech sent him away, for they did not want him growing even more rich off of their land. Isaac and his family wandered for many weeks, and they were met everywhere they went with disdain and conflict. Yet God remained faithful, and reminded Isaac of his promise to him. God blessed him, saying, "I am the God of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you and will bless you, and multiply your offspring for my servant Abraham's sake." And Isaac dug wells as a monument to God's faithfulness. During this time, Esau had married a Hittite woman named Judith. The two of them made Rebekah and Jacob's life miserable, and openly mocked them both. Isaac grew old, and his eyes began to fade. He could no longer open his eyes to see the fruit of his labor or the ones he loved. Isaac, knowing that his time was drawing near, called to his oldest son Esau. "My son," he said. "Here I am," Esau replied. "Go into the countryside with your bow and hunt me an animal. Prepare me a meal, and you and I will sit together to eat. Afterwards, I will bless you before I depart." Esau left immediately to hunt for his father, anticipating the blessing that would come afterwards. Rebekah overheard Isaac and Esau and immediately grabbed her son Jacob. Rebekah told Jacob what Isaac was planning on doing, and together they devised a plan to steal away Esau's blessing. Jacob killed a goat and made his father a delicious stew. Rebekah then dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes. Since Esau was a hairy man, Jacob covered himself in goat fur. With Esau's clothes, fur, and stew, Jacob entered into his father's tent, determined to come out with a blessing. Slowly entering into the tent, Jacob lowered his voice and spoke, "Here I am, Father." Isaac, blind, looked towards Jacob and said, "Who is here?" "It is Esau, your firstborn. I have done what you asked. Please, get up and eat so that you may bless me." Isaac, perplexed, inquired how Esau was able to kill the animal so quickly. "The Lord guided my hand and gave me success," Jacob lied. "Come here so I can touch you, son. I must know if you are truly Esau." Jacob drew near to Isaac and allowed him to feel his arms and clothes. The trick had worked. Isaac, was convinced he was speaking to Esau. The two ate together, and Isaac placed his hands on Jacob. With love and excitement, Isaac spoke over Jacob with the same adoration he would have given Esau. The tender and intimate moment between father and firstborn son was stolen by Jacob. Isaac spoke his blessing over Jacob, reciting a type of ancient poetry, one that would echo throughout all of Jacob's life. "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the God has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven, the sustenance of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let all people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be king over your brothers, and may they bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you." As Isaac was finishing his blessing over Jacob, Esau returned from his hunt. Esau tirelessly worked as he skinned the deer, butchered it, and prepared his father's favorite meal. Blessing was in reach, and he hurried to his father's tent with a meal. Jacob had left Isaac's side, and Esau approached him. "Father, I have come back from my hunt. Here, take and eat, so that you may bless me." "Who are you?" he answered crossly. "I am your firstborn son, Esau. I have come back from my hunt." Isaac trembled and became violent. In a rage, Isaac raised his voice, saying, "Who was it then that brought me food? I have blessed him, and he will be blessed." As soon as Esau heard this, he bellowed a deep and bitter cry. Sorrow, rage, and anguish welled up in Esau's heart. His brother had tricked him into giving up his birthright, and now he had stolen what mattered most, his father's blessing. Frantically, and with tears filling his eyes, Esau begged his father, "Bless me also, my father. Have you not reserved any blessing for me? Please do not leave me here alone." Isaac was enraged at Jacob, yet could not recant his blessing over him. "I have made him lord over you," Isaac said. "I have blessed him as an inheritor of all God has given me, and you will serve under him." Esau wept bitterly. His face fell into his hands as he managed to ask, "Is there any blessing you can give me? Anything at all?" Isaac spoke again in ancient poetry. Welling up with sadness for his son, he spoke, saying, "Behold, away from the richness of the earth you shall dwell, and away from the dew of heaven on high. You shall live by your sword, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck." A dark part of Esau's heart was awakened that day. Thousands of generations had passed since Cain had killed his brother Abel, yet that same hatred lingered, seeking whom it may take hold of. When Isaac had breathed his last, and went to be with his father Abraham, Esau sighed a deep breath and said, "The days of mourning my father are approaching. After I mourn, I will kill my brother Jacob." Esau spoke these words to himself, yet they caught the ear of his mother Rebekah. She sent for Jacob and said to him, "Your brother plans to kill you after he has mourned your father. Gather your things and flee to my brother Laban. He will take care of you until your brother's fury subsides." So Jacob fled in the dead of night and waited there until his brother's anger dimmed and he could return to claim what was now rightfully his.